Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are here to talk about group vacations and the outstanding benefits of booking as a group. My name is Emily, and I'm the selling supervisor here in Regina, Saskatchewan. I've been in the travel industry for close to 7 years, and all of them have been with Sell-Off Vacations. In my time with Sell-Off, I've put together groups of all kinds, from weddings to family reunions to corporate events. I love working with groups, and I can't wait to answer all of your questions about group travel. Presenting with me today is the awesome Heather Price. How are things going in St. Catharines, my friend?
Hi, Emily. Things are great here. Actually, seeing the sunshine has really made me feel an awful lot better. Getting everybody's spirits up. My name is Heather. I'm the selling supervisor here in the St. Catharines branch, and I've been in the travel industry for close to 30 years. I've been with Sell-Off for just over 6. And I'm glad we're talking about group travel today, because really, Emily, it is probably my favorite thing to book and to do. I just think that traveling as a group is really the way to go. It's fun to hang out with a whole bunch of people with no responsibilities for a whole week and just spend time with people. But how are things with you, and what's happening in Saskatchewan?
Well, sun is shining here as well. Very exciting. They've started to slowly relax some of the restrictions around our family bubbles. And I'll tell you, this past weekend, I had the chance to see my brother and his family, and we sat down for a meal together for the first time in over a year. It's hard to believe this COVID business has been around as long as it has, and I absolutely did not realize how much I needed that interaction with my family. It was so good for my soul.
Oh, I can't even imagine. That just sounds amazing. It's amazing to me how much has actually changed, but seeing your family, especially the ones that you haven't been able to see for so long, is so important, and I'm so happy for you. I think that's what I miss the most is my people, the hugs and the interaction and just the people. I mean, we were slow, Ontario, coming out of lockdown, but we're out. I got my hair cut. So I think we're all missing the same thing, right? Breaking bread together and having fun and just hanging out together.
Yep, the little things, right? I've been meaning to ask you, I heard from a little birdie that you might be going on a trip. That would certainly be a step in the right direction to normal. I miss the beach.
Who told you? I'm trying. I've got something going on in January, and I'm really hoping to be able to go, and I'm just working on the time off right now.
Right on. Who's going?
Well, I put a group together, and I'm going to brag about that a little later, but I was just chatting up the kids about trying to get away as a family, because it's just, again, the one thing that we've missed so much. And I think it's been a really tough year. I think everybody's really struggling. And so I just started poking around to see what I could find. And I went into January thinking I would be far enough away from COVID, hopefully by then, to be able to do it without a whole lot of problem. And I found an incredible price on the Royalton Bavaro in January. And I was able to hold 20 seats for like 60 days. And I only had to put $300 down. So that was good, because it gave me the opportunity to talk to everybody and put it out there and see what, get a feel for, what kind of reception I'd get. But it was a nice opportunity to sort of have that space and that rate, and it's something we can offer to everybody, not just, my clients.
Absolutely. I've heard that Royalton Bavaro is amazing. I hate to admit this on a live broadcast, but I have never been to Punta Cana. And we were talking about doing the same thing as a family. So I have an idea. What if you and I did a bit of a comparison for our viewers to show some of the awesome savings that are to be had when you book as part of a group? People are dying to see their families. I know I'm not the only one. And what better way to do that than on a beach with a beverage in hand?
Exactly. I mean, we can use the group pricing that I was looking at for my family. I've sent you the group quote to have a look at it. Currently, there's this like tax savings promo that they have on, and a one-time price drop protection on there as well. So if the price does go down, we're protected that way. We get the lower rate. And if I book my family first and you guys even just wanted to try and join in, we've got time to add the space. As long as the flights don't sell out before you put your payment on, then you guys could come too.
That sounds like so much fun, and I'm sure my parents would join us as well. So taking a look at this quote, I have a family of 5, 2 adults and 3 kids. So we need 2 rooms. My kids are close to being teenagers and of course need a little bit of space. But at the Royalton Bavaro, if we look at this departure out of Regina on the 12th of January for a week, if I were to book just the 5 of us, we'd be looking at about the $10,000 mark. But if I compare it to the group rate you sent me, I can book the exact same thing for just over $9,000. That's a savings of well over $1,000 in taxes alone for my family. And I know that I can certainly think of things to do with $1,000. And I also have those Sunwing vouchers from my canceled trip last year. I can just move over the vouchers to the group, wouldn't have any out-of-pocket expenses until the final payment would be due about 60 days before we go. What an awesome idea.
Gosh, that's such a huge savings. Let me just see, because if we leave from Toronto on the same dates with my family of 4, and I definitely need 2 rooms, 4 adults makes it $7,000. And looking at this quote, my family would save $1,100, over $1,100. So just you and I quickly just doing that, looking at it so quickly, the 2 families traveling together, saving that kind of money. And the more I think of it, my brother's in Vancouver and they could fly from there. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you live. We can all join up at the Tiki Bar.
Absolutely.
You and I could almost have a redo of our trip to Costa Rica.
Oh, that was so much fun. You and I were both so lucky to be able to spend a week with a group of 40 other agents. I find that I think the groups are going to be much more prevalent this year, seeing as so many people have been struggling with not seeing loved ones. Think of the weddings that were missed, the birthday celebrations, anniversaries, and like I said, just straight up missing one another. We've missed a lot over the last year, and what a great way to celebrate it than as a group.
Absolutely. I agree. Gosh, you and I could talk all day long. I think there's probably some questions going on. Pam?
Absolutely. Good morning, ladies, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We've had some great questions come in this morning. I think we'll start with you, Heather. Somebody named Tina is asking, do you foresee an end to having to stay in a quarantine hotel?
Well, I do foresee an end sooner or later. I mean, we can't carry on forever. And I think that any Canadian that wants a vaccine is going to have one this year. And I think that all those things combined are going to start taking some of the restrictions off of travel, and that will be a lot easier for everybody.
Sure. And I see the moderators in the Q&A have posted the link to the government website. So that's probably their best place to keep an eye on that as to when it comes to an end. And Emily, I've got one for you here. They want to know if they need to make an appointment to come and see you in the store.
Well, luckily, the majority of our stores across the country are open. I think appointments are a personal preference. If you are on a time schedule and you want to ensure that we are ready for you, an appointment is a great idea. But if you're in the area and you just want to pop in, you see a sell-off store, we can absolutely accommodate that as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and if you're a little nervous about social distancing, all of our branches now offer virtual consultations, so they can help you set up in the same platform we're using today, and they can speak to the whole group or just you, whatever you need. Okay, Heather, I've got one here for you. Do you guys charge extra if we're trying to do a wedding?
Absolutely not. No, we'd be happy to help you do that. There's some really great bonuses and promotions going on too now, especially with the tour operators that will give you some consultations with wedding planners and things like that as well. So no, we'd never charge for our services. We're happy to help you anytime.
Okay, perfect. And Emily, there's one more here for you. How far ahead can we book a group?
You can book a group much further out than you can just a regular family vacation. That's another one of the perks to booking as a group. We can quote late into 2022, and in some cases actually as early as into 2023 already.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've got 3 lovely travel agents helping moderate your questions today, so please keep them coming and we'll carry on, and I'll be back with more soon.
Wow, those were some great questions. Keep them coming, you guys, and we'll get to more of those in a little bit.
One thing I've noticed, Heather, is I'm getting a lot of grandparents wanting to treat their families to a getaway. They've missed out on a full year of grandchildren growing up. And going back to my weekend with my brother, this really hit home for me. I have 2.5-year-old twin nephews. And it dawned on me that I've only been able to watch them grow up via FaceTime over the last year. And when they're that little, that's, half their life, right? Why don't you and I go over some of the additional benefits of booking as a group as opposed to individually, and how easy it is to form a group? Look how quickly we put one together with your family and my family. Maybe it will get the people out there thinking about who they want to travel with and where they want to go. There's so many perks.
Absolutely. I mean, the reduced rates are great, and that's one thing. The tax savings is $400 a couple easily with the flexible booking and payment options and all that. But the ability to add to the group as the word spreads, because when you tell two friends, they're going to tell two friends. So that's how these things tend to take off really quickly. When word spreads that you're traveling, people get pretty antsy. So also the advantage of working with, any one of the agents at Sell-Off. I mean, we are a really experienced, well-grounded group that can help you with almost anything. And, the experience with the group booking is really, really important to have somebody that has got your back for sure during that process. That's us.
Absolutely. As experienced group agents, we take care of all the nitty gritty stuff, collecting traveler information, payments, rather than having one person in your group being responsible for it. Unfortunately, sometimes there's some tough conversations to have if things like credit cards are declined. We have experience with all kinds of scenarios, and making sure the little details are taken care of is what we do. The best part is, too, anyone in your group can contact us to have their questions answered. We take great pride in making sure everyone has a stress-free vacation, whether it's a small group of 6 or 100 people traveling.
Exactly. I've been working with my group now, and I reached up to 40 people in just a couple of days. So what's the biggest group you've ever booked, Emily?
The largest group I had was about 85 people, and it was for a wedding in Puerto Vallarta. The bride and groom loved it, and when they got home, I even got sent these gorgeous sunset pictures of their ceremony. It was just extra special. I felt like I got to be a very small part of it, and I got to make their stay extra special. They didn't have to worry about answering their guests' questions. That's what I was here for. I collected all the information, all of the payments, and helped with all the little requests that each guest had.
Yeah, speaking of weddings, there's some really good bonuses out there right now for brides and grooms in terms of like anniversary credits for return stays, excursion credits, storage for the wedding gowns and the attire, upgrades for seats. There's all kinds of really, really good things available right now. And on top of all that, you can put it together and make it as individual as you need to, right? They just make sure that every detail is perfect.
Absolutely. When I've talked to clients, I've found that a lot of them think that group pricing is really only for really big groups or weddings, and that just simply isn't the case. We can take care of groups as small as 6, still give an awesome discount, and groups can go as large as your imagination can come up with. I feel like the group that you've put together is a little bit different. I'd love to hear you brag about it and just kind of tell us some of the details.
Oh, yeah, the group was kind of lucky the way it fell together, but I had enough of just sitting and dreaming and thinking about it and talking about it. So I just started poking around at dates and rates. And then I put it out there to my friends and my family and my clients. And, sometimes I find that those lines blur, right? My clients have become my friends, so many of them. So obviously I wasn't the only one, because from Thursday to Sunday, I sold all 40 of my seats, and now I've had to ask for some more, but I'm not going to say no to anybody.
Yeah, that's not a bad problem to have, right? The more the merrier.
Exactly.
When we book groups, we sort of talked about this a little bit earlier, but we have the ability to price dates that are not yet showing in the consumer system. We can take advantage of prices in 2021 for travel into 2022 and beyond. And as Pam mentioned, we have the ability to do these virtual consultations. I know that people out there have varying degrees of comfort when it comes to connecting with others and being in, public spaces. So these virtual consultations are as simple as us sending you a personal link to a meeting, and we have a face-to-face chat, very similar to what we're doing here. We can invite as many people to that virtual consultation without having to worry about those social distancing requirements. And if you don't feel comfortable being on camera, that's totally okay. At least you get a chance to meet your agent, kind of connect with them a little bit. And besides, after working and putting together a group for a year, like you said, that line blurs between client and friend, and we become very invested in what our clients are doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, gosh, look at the time, Emily. You and I will talk all day. I forgot we had all these people here. Are there some more questions, Pam?
There sure are. We're going to be here a little longer. The first one I'm going to give to you, Heather. I have someone asking if they can do a group on a cruise and get a reduced rate.
Oh, absolutely. And that, again, is another one that's an awful lot of fun because you just keep bumping into one another on deck all day. There's some excellent value right now. I know that different tour operators are offering some excellent air incentives, and we've got an awful lot going on in groups for cruising right now. And I do believe a lot of that has some deadlines at the end of this month. So you might want to give us a call sometime in the next week or so to look at some of those, because they're not things you want to miss out on for sure.
Oh, sure. That's so true. The promos come and go fast, don't they? So Emily, I've got someone here asking, they want to know a little bit more about doing a group in Jamaica. Maybe we can tell them about some of the wedding rules and a couple of the great resorts that do them.
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Jamaica. It's probably one of my favorite destinations, and there are so many different areas of Jamaica. I personally love Montego Bay. I love the closeness to the town. Yeah, Jamaica is an amazing group, or I guess a destination to take your group, and I'd love to chat with you more about it. You can certainly email me at regina@selloffvacations.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that as well.
I agree with you. Jamaica is one of my favorites. I miss jerk chicken so bad. I can't wait to get back. Heather, here's one for you from Wendy. She's asking us how many people make up a group.
That's a great question, actually, because different suppliers have different rules, and then there's also promos that happen too. So ideally, we can work with you even as low as 6, if that's what works for you. But 8 and then 10 is the magic number for a lot of them. But don't ever hesitate to reach out and ask, because there's always different perks and different incentives to try and get you to get your 4 or 5 or 6 people on that aircraft. So.
Excellent. Okay, I've got another one here for you, Heather. Can a group consist of both Canadian and American travelers?
Yeah, I've done that actually in the past. Usually for the packages, your air is different gateways out of Canada, so we can have somebody from Halifax and your cousin from Vancouver, and we'll all meet down at the Tiki Bar, as I mentioned, because that's a good place to meet. But as far as the States, I mean, as an agent, I'm able to pull up some air fares from different cities in the States, and then we would just sell you the land separately, and we could piece that all together for you. Again, all the years of experience that we have at Sell-Off, there's not a thing we can't put together for you, I can assure you.
Oh, isn't that true? That's absolutely what we do. So I've got one here for you, Emily.
Sure.
They're saying, what happens in the case of cancellations? Do we lose our money because final payment is so far out?
No, in some cases, deposits can be non-refundable. But the deposits for groups are reduced, which is a great perk. And also when it comes to certain hotels, for example, the Royaltons and the Rius, when they're booked through Sunwing, will actually give those deposits back in the form of a future travel voucher. Every tour operator has different rules, and the beauty of working with an agent is it's our job to navigate those and make sure you're aware of all of the terms and conditions and the ins and outs prior to putting that money down.
Isn't that great news? You know, Sunwing has always been one of my favorite. I was a group agent when I was a travel agent, and I love that they're doing this. They really seem to understand our fears and concerns.
Yeah.
So now, do you have a client, Emily, that you might remember named Judy? I've got to tell you what she has to say here. Emily has booked several group trips for us. She is a great agent and made the process so easy. We've always had a great time and such a pleasure working with her.
Aww.
Yes.
I look forward to planning the next one, Judy.
Yeah. So this is a question I'm going to ask both of you. Emily, you can go first because we've got you on the screen. Tell us about some of the best island trips available for the fall of 2021 or early 2022.
The best island trips. You know, I think the best are the ones that are surrounded by a group of people. I love traveling as a group. I will tell you, I have 2 favorite destinations, one of them being Jamaica, as we mentioned earlier. But my other favorite, maybe not so much an island, but Puerto Vallarta We had a family there, a family group there of 13 travelers. There was 6 adults and 7 children under 12. It was a little bit hectic, but it really was a destination that boasted something for everyone and is probably one of my most memorable trips.
Okay, and Heather, what's your favorite?
Oh, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to have to say Jamaica too. It's absolutely my favorite southern destination, and it's easy to get to. I don't know. I feel very much at home there, and like you, if I don't get some jerk chicken soon, things are going to get ugly.
It's so true. So the next one, Heather, we kind of answered, but I'm wondering if we can add to it. It says, we're planning a vacation with a few friends, maybe 6. Are there savings? Now, what I'd also like to talk about, is there anything we can do to help them make their group larger to get even better savings? I know I've heard you do this in the office.
Yeah, I do it a lot because it tends to work. Again, you get your 6, and then when you 6 are out somewhere and you start chatting, somebody's going to hear that, and people don't like to get left out, so they're going to try and join in, and your 6 will turn into 8 instant so quickly. I've rarely does it not work out for me that I can get my group up over 10 just by giving them some time to work at it and talk about it and network a little, because it works. And sure. I just feel like the more the merrier myself.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, Emily, can you get group rates for land only, as I have points to cover my flights?
Yeah, absolutely we can. We request the same rates as we would for an all-inclusive. Heather and I are very capable of doing that. You could message either of us. I think our emails will be coming up at the end of the presentation, but absolutely, the short answer is absolutely we can.
Okay, excellent. And Heather, do you have agents that would specialize in a destination wedding?
I think that any group is a group, right? I mean, the wedding part is extra and very important, and we have people that specialize in just that wedding, area, and that's great. But as group travel goes, every agent, I think, in this company, has some pretty good back experience with that and is very comfortable doing that. And even if they weren't, we've got each other, and we work so well together in this company that I find that we lean on the people that are strong when we need them. But group travel is definitely something that you need to be well versed at if you're going to be good at it.
Oh, for sure. And some of the hotels and suppliers like Sunwings, they have some wedding coordinators that, depending on where you're going to stay, can help you with your wedding and actually be your wedding planning. And sometimes the cost is very minimal. So all the agents can certainly guide you and direct you there. Here's a tricky one. How many people are needed for an air-only group to Europe?
Emily?
I don't know if I have the answer to that off the top of my head.
I can find out. I think it's a minimum. I want to say 20. I think with some of them, again, different carriers are going to have different rules. That's something I'd like to investigate. If I could get back to that person, that'd be great.
Sure. So they can just email you at stcatharines@selofvacations.com.
Perfect. And I will action that immediately.
Okay, I got a tricky one here for you, Emily, and I'm not sure if you can answer it. We may have to send your email address. It says, since Emily is in the Regina office, is she able to comment on Saskatchewan airports possibly not having an international status?
I will try to comment on it to the best of my ability. We know that the airports are in the process of changing their status. I know that the airports do have to apply for international status before June 30th. And until anything is posted and anything becomes official, I would hate to say much more than that.
Yeah, that's right. But we're all watching very closely, so just touch base with your Sela Vacation agent and they'll be able to give you, as soon as we get updates, they'll certainly have it. So
Absolutely.
That's a good one. And Emily, you have another customer here. Christine from Facebook says, hi, Emily. So,
hi, Christine.
You're just getting to be quite celebrity for us, Emily. I want to take a minute here and thank Nicole and Holly and Elena, who are also group agents. You'll find their email in the Q&A if you'd like to speak with any of them, if they're closer to you or that would be easier. I want to thank them for helping us with the questions today and let you know that they're available. And with that, Emily and Heather, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for all the viewers joining us today. If you have posted a question and it did not get answered, as Pam said, Holly, Elena, and Nicole will remain online to respond to any questions we may have missed. Keep in mind that, as I said earlier, most of our storefront locations are open. Please check out our website for the current hours of operation for your local store. We also have all of the necessary protective measures to have our clients face-to-face with us. Alternatively, agents are able to assist you by phone until 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight, and you can reach one of our dedicated group's agents at 1-888-872-8210. You can also feel free to contact either Heather or myself directly. Our contact information should be up on your screen now for you to take a screenshot.
Thanks, Emily. I just want to remind everyone too that we'll be back next week for another presentation, and I would encourage you to visit our website, selloffvacations.com. See, thank me for not singing that. You can sign up there for our weekly newsletter, and that'll keep you up to date on current promotions and have all the information of the upcoming presentations. So join us next week, Wednesday, March 24th for a cruise presentation, and I sure hope you'll join us again. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, everyone.